With patch 11.1 here, the first Mythic Plus season is ending. Icy Veins put out an excellent article going over the numbers gathered by Raider.io to uncover how players engaged with Mythic Plus dungeons, so I thought it'd be a very interesting idea to take a look at those numbers and find out which dungeons were fan favorites and which ones fell flat. Just a quick reminder before we start that I am streaming World of Warcraft on Twitch and YouTube Monday to Thursday starting at around 7 PM Eastern Standard Time. Alright, let's get into it. Overall, Mythic Plus is a polarizing topic. Some players hailed Season 1 as the best, whereas others called it a disaster. Amidst these heated debates, however, raw stats often get thrown around without context. So let's take a look at a detailed breakdown of dungeon performance across the season and perhaps even spotlight recurring pain points from tricky affixes to dungeon-specific challenges. So at a glance, we have these two charts that denote the pick rates and completion rates for each dungeon. These measured how often players chose them out of all the runs this season and shows how successful players were in each of those dungeons. First up on the list is a favorite from Shadowlands. Mists of Tyrna Scythe dominated the season with a 16% pick rate. Its streamlined design, 3 bosses and a 30-minute timer made it a go-to choice for players. Familiarity and efficiency also played a role in its popularity. Second on the list is Arakawa, which had a 14% pick rate. Another short and sweet option, Arakawa's 3-boss layout and 30-minute runtime made it a hit. Its appeal was further boosted by a best-in-slot DPS trinket, proving that great loot can drive player interest. Despite being one of the longest dungeons and having the lowest completion rate, Grim Batol secured the 3rd spot thanks to its best-in-slot healer trinket with a pick rate of 13%. This shows that even punishing dungeons can thrive with the right rewards. As a returning dungeon from Battle for Azeroth, Siege of Borealis benefited from player nostalgia. Despite some early tuning issues, its engaging design and familiar mechanics kept it in the top half of the rankings. As the season unfolded, Dawnbreaker, with a 12.5% pick rate, emerged as a reliable choice for players aiming to secure their weekly vault rewards quickly. Its efficient design, featuring a compact layout, a high success rate, and a short runtime, made it a standout option for those prioritizing speed and consistency. In at number 6, Necrotic Wake had an 11.73% pick rate. This dungeon's popularity took a hit due to a notorious brick wall moment at the Surgeon Stitchflesh boss. A single ability could derail an entire run, making it a risky choice for many players. Next, we have Stonevault with a 10.96% pick rate. Stonevault's reputation for brutal trash mechanics made it a tough sell for many players. While its success rate was respectable, the dungeon lacked compelling rewards or incentives to draw in consistent interest, leaving it in the lower half of the rankings. As for the least popular dungeon of the season, we have City of Threads sitting at only a 9% pick rate. City of Threads was the clear outlier this season, lagging far behind the rest. 2 major elements contributed to its unpopularity. The first was fail checks. Every boss had at least one mechanic that could wipe the group, making it a high-risk, low-reward choice. The second was forced travel and roleplay. Players disliked the lengthy travel routes and roleplay elements, which made the dungeon feel unnecessarily drawn out. These issues combined to make City of Threads the least picked dungeon since Lower Karazhan in Shadowlands Season 4. Now, it wouldn't be fair if we also didn't talk about affixes, as they play a significant role in shaping the player's preference each week. Depending on the combination, certain dungeons can become significantly harder or easier to complete. For example, Tyrannical Weeks. Boss-heavy dungeons like Necrotic Wake become more challenging due to increased boss health and damage. Then you have Fortified Weeks, where dungeons with punishing trash mechanics such as the Stonevault can feel overwhelming. Then you have the obnoxious affixes like Oblivion, which required players to soak orbs in tight spaces, which made narrow corridors or crowded rooms a nightmare to navigate. The combination of cluttered environments and precise positioning demands can turn even straightforward pulls into high-pressure situations, especially during high-key runs. These weekly variations often led to shifts in dungeon popularity. Players tend to avoid dungeons that become disproportionately difficult due to affix combinations, while favoring those that remain manageable or even easier. So with all this being said, what drives player choices? When it comes to picking a dungeon, players weigh several considerations. First, there's runtime. Shorter dungeons like Mists and Arakawa are always popular. Then you have success rate. High completion rates make dungeons like Dawnbreaker appealing. Then there's loot. Best-in-slot items can make even challenging dungeons like Grim Batol worth the effort. Then you have familiarity, where returning dungeons often dominate pick rates as players already know the mechanics. And lastly, you have affixes, where weekly affix combinations can make or break a dungeon's appeal, influencing player choices significantly. On the flip side, however, dungeons like City of Threads suffer from a combination of negative elements. There's the punishing mechanics, the long run times, and low rewards. One often overlooked aspect of dungeon design is the run back time after a wipe. This season, Dawnbreaker stood out for its convenience. Players could recover from a wipe in under 15 seconds. In contrast, City of Threads forced players through lengthy flybacks and walks, while Grimbatol's runbacks could waste up to a minute of precious time between bosses 1 and 3. For many players, these inefficiencies were a deal breaker. So just to wrap it up with key takeaways, this season's data underscores the importance of balancing dungeon design with player preference. While loot and familiarity can drive popularity, punishing mechanics, inefficient layouts, and challenging affix combinations can quickly turn players away. That being said, I've seen the changes planned for Season 2 and I'm personally pleased to see it moving in a much better direction. Things will be a lot easier, a lot less stressful, and hopefully with some of these changes, we won't have such meta-defining comps that can gatekeep people out of trying Mythic Plus. We can only hope that they improve and keep iterating on the seasons to come to make Mythic Plus a truly fun, rewarding, and engaging endgame. That'll do it for this one. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video and you want to see more WoW content, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel because it does help a ton. Let me know in the comments what your favorite dungeon was this season and if you're looking forward to Season 2. Me personally, I loved Grimbatol. Until next time.